Lincoln Riley and USC, on the recruiting trail, man, they have got it going on. There's no way around it. He was on an absolute heater, and USC was on an absolute heater as a staff. Probably credit that defensive staff quite a bit, too, with Dan Lynn and Eric Henderson. They landed not one, not two, not three, but 4 commitments in the class of 2025. Got one more in the class of 2026. On Sunday, massive visit weekend in Los Angeles, and they were all on the defensive side of the ball. Mic drop. Because remember, Lincoln Riley now doesn't do defense. They don't coach great defense at USC. They underachieve. That's kind of the thorn in the side. Just landed a bunch of really high-profile players, probably most notably 5-star defensive lineman Justice Terry. Class of 2025 from the state of Georgia, flipped from the Dogs to USC. Any way you slice it, that's massive for the Trojans to land a player of his caliber and to get it from the in-state school who was committed to the in-state school. No, in any way you slice it, that's massive. But the further we got into this whole thought around Lincoln Riley and USC, I think we started to peel back more layers and more narratives around him as a coach. And it sort of led me to this place where I'm like, I think we need to talk about this as a community right now. I think we need to provide some more context with who Lincoln Riley is as a head coach and what he hasn't accomplished in relation to what he has accomplished. Because there's this narrative out there like, all right, you landed some great talent on defense. Cool. It's not going to translate, though. And then when those people that say it won't translate or USC won't be good defensively, you say, well, what makes you feel that way? Because it's good to have dialogue. That's why we enjoy college football. The beauty is in the banter, as some would say. It won't translate because it's USC. Because it's USC? Because, the logo? Well, yeah, the last couple of years, USC and Lincoln Riley, they don't really play good defense. Look at Lincoln Riley and his track record, man. He hasn't coached good defense since he was at Oklahoma. That's where you got to stop and tell your boy, hey, yeah, Lincoln Riley as the head coach hasn't had great defenses, but does Lincoln Riley coach up how to tackle? Does Lincoln Riley sit down during the week with the defense in the team meeting room with the cowboy laser pointer and say, okay, what are we doing here? Hey, you missed your gap here. Lincoln Riley doesn't coach the defense. The issue for Lincoln Riley and for USC, I think it's pretty fair to say, and we'll see how much of an impact it had organizationally, was probably a philosophical thing. And also probably a thing with who he had run the defense previously. Now, you're bringing a brand new staff, and we talked to him about it actually on this very show, so go check that interview out on our YouTube channel. Made a point to hire with a high pedigree, guys that have coached in the NFL, guys that have coached on the defensive line, with Eric Henderson coming from the Rams, Danton Lynn, who's coached in the NFL and also most recently coached a really good defense at UCLA across the road from USC. They've made a very clear point to hire with, again, high pedigree and also an emphasis on development. Lincoln Riley said that to us, plain as day. We want to develop our guys and let the guys know that when they get here, they'll get developed. That's a very different tune than I think USC was singing previously because they had acquired some talent through the portal, and that's kind of the reason why you have folks being naysayers about USC. But again, it was an organizational thing. It wasn't Lincoln Riley per se. We're going to see how much of a pivot these hires make for his defense, but I think the narrative that it's Lincoln Riley and his defense, Lincoln Riley's not coaching defense. Now, it's his defensive coordinator, it's his organization, which he obviously is responsible for, but I think when you talk about Lincoln Riley as a coach, there's sort of become this narrative that he's not a good coach because of how they underachieved last year and went 7-5 with the Heisman Trophy winner, and I get that. In the moment, that's fair. That's fair to say that USC should have been massively better last year. Heck, we sat here in August of last year and picked them to make the college football playoff and to win the Pac-12. Rest in peace, Pac-12. We miss you already. We were all the way on board with that. However, you look at what he's done over the course of his career, and as bad as the defenses have been, that was the first time in a regular season, I say regular season in the sense of we're not counting the COVID season where they went 9-2, he's won double-digit games every other season. What does that tell you? Okay, he can coach some ball. What he's done with the quarterback position deserves some recognition. Multiple Heisman Trophy winners plus Jalen Hurts. He can coach some ball. 2 college football playoff appearances. 80% of his games he has won as a head coach. He can coach some ball. So yes, the defense has been bad. But if you're telling me that's the only issue and they're still able to win double-digit games pretty much every single year, are we really going to say he's a bad head coach? he's done a poor job managing the defensive side of the football. There's no way around that. But are you telling me he's a bad head coach? That feels a little bit irresponsible to me. And I think it should feel a little bit irresponsible to you as well when it comes to how we assess him as a head coach. Now, here's the other thing I want to make sure we talk about. There's so much thought around Lincoln Riley and what he's not able to do and how he's not going to win a national championship because of what he doesn't do defensively. And it's like, great head coaches are able to evolve. I think the next evolution for him is this defensive staff. And he didn't do it probably as quickly as you would have liked. You would have liked for him to evolve and be able to have a great defense to go with Kyler Murray, or have a great defense to go with Jalen Hurts, or a great defense this last year to go with Caleb Williams. Like, of course you would have liked to see that. But, like, if this is what it takes for him to evolve, is having a fall-on-your-face kind of year in 2023, and they go win a national championship and, over the course of the next 3 years, get one of those, who cares? Who cares? Like, it is very difficult to win a national championship. Only one team does it a year. Only one. And it took Dabo Swinney at Clemson 6 years to figure it out. Took Kirby Smart 6 years for him to go win a national championship. There's a lot of things that have to fall into place. But I don't think it's a stretch to say that Lincoln Riley has had a college football playoff / national championship level offense over the course of his entire coaching career. I don't think that's irresponsible to say. So if that's the one ingredient we have to fix, okay, maybe there's a little bit more opportunity there than we're trying to realize. Also, for the record, talked about Dabo Swinney and Kirby Smart taking them 6 years to win a national championship. I believe Lincoln Riley is on year 7 or 8 now as a head coach. So the bottom line here, you'd like to see him pivot quicker, but if this is the staff that changes the defensive side of the ball for USC and they acquire talent, how they've acquired talent over the course of this last weekend, it's early in 2025, top 3 class in the country right now, I would just keep tabs on USC, and I'd be very slow to make a definitive opinion on this new staff out there in Los Angeles. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.